So I'm with Mike and Laura Allred, the famous ones, and we're gonna ask questions about their way of doing works, as a couple. So first of all, I would like to know where the Madman idea came from.
I was doing a book called Graphic Music, and it was very esoteric. I didn't know. I was flailing around. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and our two boys were just getting into school, and they would tell their friends that their dad drew comic books, but I wasn't doing anything that the kids liked, and so I started trying to think of what I would like as an adult, but also remind myself what I loved as a child. And my favorite character at the time was Frank Einstein, and so I just thought, I'll put a costume on him and make him a superhero, but not a traditional superhero, just Frank Einstein with a costume, and make him an adventure character, more like Tintin, just traveling in different adventures. That was the main idea of that, and then I created a family for him with the mad scientists and robots and aliens from outer space, so it just built like that.
Did Laura participate in this process?
Absolutely not.
Not at all.
So you have to answer that one. I don't know how I participated in any of that.
At that point, she was working full time, and I had quit my job as a TV reporter, so it was scary. And she was the breadwinner, the moneymaker. So in that way, she allowed me the time to dream.
Yeah, well, plus I started painting at the age of 8, and whenever we got together, we were art students, and when we got together, Mike would get so mad at me because I quit everything. He's like, Laura, because he would be drawing, painting, doing sculpture, and I was always busy with my job. Once you have a job and kids, it's like I don't have time. And so when he did start his hobby at first with the comics, I said, if it ever goes to color, I'll paint your books. And I kind of said it as a joke, but he held me to it.
Yes.
That's great.
So when the first Mad Men series, which was 2 colors, was successful, it justified a full color book, and she's been doing it full time ever since.
Yes.
Okay. And there is a bit of personification in Mad Men. There is Joe, and there is Frank, and are they you?
Pretty much, and more than any other characters I've created. I definitely spill a lot of myself, my thoughts, existential thoughts. I filter them through Frank Einstein, and his feelings for Joe are similar to my feelings for Laura. Like, Frank can't understand why someone so beautiful would like him. I don't know why she loves me. I don't know how I got so lucky, and that's really the center of Frank and Joe's, at least from Frank to Joe. Joe loves him unconditionally, and I think she does me.
Mm-hmm.
So that would, yes, more than any other character, I would put myself in Frank Einstein.
Yeah. And how do you feel about this, Laura?
It's so too sweet.
She's blushing. I don't want to tell you about this. Okay. And the name in Madman, there is a kind of French inspiration with Joséphine and Beaufort. Have you something with French, or is it just named like that?
Well, we lived in Europe when I was a TV reporter, and most of my favorite things are European or influenced by Europe. And I mentioned Tintin being my inspiration for adventure stories. Mobius is one of my favorite artists. Yves Jalande, his bold brushwork, and the clear line school. All of that is my favorite.
Yeah, we can feel that in your work.
Good. And so that also is,
And with the music, you always...
yeah. And so it's there. It's just naturally
Music
there.
is a huge part of it too. Just his music, our music, music.
So music is huge too.
Yeah.
Okay. Julia, you want to ask some questions?
So if you don't mind, we are going to talk a little bit about the process, I would say almost the technical process, how you work together, whether it's on Man or iZombie or anything else, if you don't mind. So, for example, you came with original art, and I saw for the MAC Mac advertisement you did, there was a pencil page, an inked page. So how do you work? Do you work on separate pages, or do you use blue lines or light box?
You did too.
Usually I'll start with tiny thumbnails that I do right on the script, and then I'll do a layout of the page tiny, and then I'll go big and just start drawing in the panels. With the Wonder Woman illustrations, when it was unusual in that they would ask for changes, and so when I would draw one of the tableaus, designs, pages, and they asked for changes, rather than erase everything, I thought I'll just start over, because it was a whole page.
So there's pencils under those.
Yeah.
He drew it twice.
Yeah, and so that was unusual. Whereas if an editor asked me to make a change on a pencil page, I would just erase it and make the change. So that's rare for me to leave a fully penciled page and then go and do another one. So normally, yeah, I'll pencil it. It gets approved, or if it's my own work, I just show it to my editor, Jamie, who just gives me feedback. He never makes changes for requests, suggestions. He'll make sure that my spelling is correct. But with iZombie or Marvel, DC, with that editor, they'll approve the pencils or ask for changes. Then I'll ink it. And this is where I do the clear line, and almost always with a brush. And then when that's approved, she will scan the line art. Then she gives the pages back to me, and that's when I do the watercolor washes for the tones and the modeling, the shading.
Yeah, but this is pretty recent, because Mike is like efficiency expert, so he's always trying to see how we could do things better, how we could do things faster, and how we can progress. I mean, he's always, we gotta try this, we gotta try that. He's always been like that. And then, so with the new Madman series that just came out, we did something new, like on each book. Like the third book, Mike did different artists rendering, and then like, was it 9 that you did the one panel?
Yeah.
The whole book was like one panel.
Yeah.
So that was our going through experiments and stuff. So when we got on iZombie, we're still trying to perfect and how we can make it the best. And I think it came together on issue number 8, where we finally figured out. It's like, I think Mike woke me up at 1 o'clock in the morning. He's like, Laura, I figured it out, because we were trying to get it down, and we kind of knew what we were doing, but it wasn't there yet. And he's like, I got it. So he gets me out of bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning, because he's thinking about it and he can't let it rest. So he's showing me, we gotta do this, So it's just amazing how, like, I finish the same day Mike finishes. Like I'm coloring, he's inking me, giving me the last page, and I'm coloring it that day. So we finish at the same time. It's pretty great.
So
Did I talk too fast?
I didn't want the colors to have a computer rendering look to them. I wanted them to look organic. And when I would do washes before, and she would color under the washes, it was muddy and dirty looking or blurry looking. And so when we came to this and she scans the line art, then that's archived. Then
Separate.
when she gives me the pages back and I do the washes, then she scans that again. She can turn every single pixel of washes into any color she wants and make them different layers and different opacities.
Yeah.
And so she has complete control over it. When she gets my line art, she does all flat colors, which we love flat colors.
Copy.
Yeah, really.
By doing the washes, we're able to keep the flat colors, but have varying subtle degrees of shading and texture.
Plus, it looks like three-dimensional, and then I get to put like green shading on a green shirt, blue shading on blue pants, skin shading on skin, and then the hair stuff. It just looks. It brings it out. It just
It's live.
yeah.
So it's flat plus.
Yeah. It's fun.
And it's an unusual way to work. I don't think I ever heard something like that. Maybe Matt Winsworth doing colors on team sales work, but that's all. And don't you miss doing modeling on
No.
on the page?
No, I love it, and I love the way it looks. And I've never been a big fan of, because you could over-render something so easily, so it's almost harder to pull back. So no, I love it. I mean, it's the look I want. The look he wants.
But I don't know if anybody does it exactly like we do it, but other artists that I would always ask how they did it. And so Eric Powell and James Jean, they told me how they did similar things.
So we got bits and pieces from different artists, and because Mike's not afraid to ask, he's like, "How do you do this? How do you do this?" And so we kind of took everything we learned and put it together for us.
Yeah, what worked best for us.
Just what works best for us.
So it's a silly question. I'm aware of that, but would you imagine one day to work separately? You coloring someone else and you having another colorist?
You can answer.
There are other colorists that I like, and she has colored other people's work. And I would like Arthur Adams on Monkey Man O'Brien, for instance, or she
That was so long ago.
the very first Seth Fisher book, she was the colorist on. And it's fun to see that. And I always love working with different people, different writers. I inked Jay Stevens, I inked Darwin Cook, they've inked me. Yeah, I love the exchange.
Thank you very much. Maybe a last question, if you can talk about it. What about the rights for the movie?
Oh,
Mad Men. I'm going back to Mad Men.
okay. Yeah, Mad Men was first optioned for a film by Universal Pictures, I think in 1995.
Long time.
And so we were developing it there, and I always kind of hoped that I could direct it or be a part of it, or as much a part of it as possible. And so I was making my own little amateur films.
Kindergarten.
Right, on the dunes. And Universal asked me what directors I would like to work with, and so I made a list of like 10 filmmakers, and at the top was Robert Rodriguez, because with El Mariachi, and Desperado and Dust at Dawn, I think just come out, he had the spirit of independence. Even working with the studio, he had a way of controlling as much as possible, very efficiently and pure. And so I was excited about that, and so I had his name on the top. So they contacted him to direct the Mad Men film, and he passed. He said no. But then he called me at home and said that he wants to do it, but he wants to have the rights to it, to have as much control of it as possible. And he came to our house, and I've gone to his house a few times, and we've become very good friends. And he keeps, he wants it, he says when he does it, it'll be the biggest thing ever. And now it's been over 10 years. He keeps...
Optioning.
Yeah. And even at one point he asked me how to get in touch with Frank Miller. And so I was, you're going to do Sin City before Mad Men. And he's like, but that will be practice for Mad Men. So...
We're not holding our breath.
Yeah, but it's been...
It's fun though.
Yeah, and I love that he is still interested in it and wants to do it. And when we do make it, we'll make it... he introduced me to George Wong, who wrote and directed Swimming with Sharks, a film I really love. And George works with Robert a lot, and they're very good friends. And so the three of us are going to make the Mad Men film the same way that Robert made Sin City with Quentin Tarantino and Frank Miller.
That's great. Yeah, we can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.